Telling your story. WCBI News at 6 starts now.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. Governor Tate Reeves said yesterday on Twitter that the best and biggest economic development deal in state history is done. That development is right here in Lowndes County. The $2.5 billion investment is expected to employ more than 1,000 Mississippians with an average salary of $93,000. Now, Desmond Matthews followed up with members that closed that deal. He joins us in the studio with more. Desmond.
That's right, Winston. It was a big day for the state yesterday, but the excitement didn't just come from the state's approval Wednesday afternoon. It's been a long time coming for the aluminum plant to make its way to the Golden Triangle, and developers feel that it won't stop there.
I got to talk to one of my friends that we competed against on this morning, and he said, where you got us is you had the land, you had the water there, you had the sewer there, and he had already calculated up what kind of financial disadvantage he was in on the deal.
Golden Triangle Development Link CEO Joe Max Higgins felt he had the deal done to bring the $2.5 billion aluminum mill to Lowndes County when he and his team began the groundwork nearly a decade ago. State lawmakers passed a plan on Wednesday that will give money to Steel Dynamics and help start an aluminum plant not far from it. Higgins praised the Mississippi Development Authority for the part they've played over the years.
Fortunately, the legislature has been supporting site preparation the past few years. They have given MDA $60 million to use in communities to help buy land, do environmental studies, engineering studies on land to get sites where they're ready for a project.
Laura Hipp is the Deputy Executive Director for the state's Development Authority. On Wednesday, legislators provided $81 million of that money up front, but it won't all be for the building of the site. Some will go towards bridge and road repairs in the county.
Where the state can fit into the project and meet the needs of the site. So like the road funding, that's a good place for the state to kind of plug in and provide funding for that.
This site doesn't have anything out here right now, but in December, Higgins expects ground to break for the plant to begin the process of being fully up and running by 2026. But it doesn't stop here. Higgins is already looking ahead.
We've got plan A, B, and C on where we think we want to grow next. But we do have to realize that it's going to take us a while to grow into this project. I think it's in our best interest for the region for us to identify where that next mega site is and start working on that while we're building this, understanding that it might take 10 years for us to grow into supporting what we've got here and be ready to go for the next one.
Higgins says that coal companies will operate within the new plant and may make objects like beer cans. And Hipp says that the aluminum plant could easily open the doors for an automotive plant or a plane manufacturing plant to make its way to the Golden Triangle.
Another candidate for the Columbus Police Chief job interviews with the City Council today. Russell Irvin met with officers at City Hall this morning, along with the residents. Irvin is an assistant police chief in Chattanooga, Tennessee, who has moved his way up the ranks. The Columbus position came open after former Chief Fred Shelton retired. City leaders appointed Doran Johnson as interim chief. Sources say he was not one of the 3 finalists in the search. Another candidate is expected to interview with the council next week. New details emerge in a case against a teenager accused of killing a 67-year-old man in his driveway. This is the mugshot of 16-year-old Tamron Ward. He's charged with murder in the shooting death of Sammy Corder. Now, the shooting happened on Sunday night on 21st Street North, around about a block from Scott Park. Columbus police say they believe Ward was intending to shoot someone else. Investigators say Corder was an innocent bystander. Corder was shot in the chest while he was sitting in his car parked in his driveway. Ward's bond has not been set yet. A Knoxville County man is accused of a child sex crime involving a teenager. 28-year-old Jataquist Morris is charged with statutory rape. 30-year-old LaShondra King is charged with false reporting of a crime and accessory after the fact. Now, investigators have accused her of knowing about the sexual act but not reporting it. Sheriff Tommy Roby says Morris babysat the victim at times. Her father reported the October 21st incident. Morris and King remain in the Knoxville County Jail. In Oklahoma, a man is dead after a crash involving a tractor. Mississippi Highway Patrol troopers say 46-year-old Torrance Stewart was driving on Highway 45A. A small car crashed into the tractor, throwing Stewart off of it. He was pronounced dead on the scene. Troopers say a West Point woman was in the car. that hit the tractor. They did not say if she was injured or not. The cause of the crash is still under investigation.
Well, we've made it out of the 80s, but we are still seeing that wide range of 70s across northeastern Mississippi. In Columbus right now, 70 degrees. It's 73 in Starkville, 74 in West Point and Tupelo, 75 in New Albany. We've got 79 in Louisville right now. But over the next 4 hours, I promise we are going to cool down into the 60s, hitting those upper 60s by 7. Low 60s by 10 p.m. and from there we will continue into the 50s. We are going to end our week warm and sunny. Our weekend front is heading our way and it's going to bring some heavy rain chances on Saturday, lighter rain chances for us on Sunday, and we'll continue to see it dry out from there into next week. Winston.
Well, it's a project that's been in the works for over a decade now. The city of Winona broke ground for its historic clock tower today. COVID and cost increases stopped the clock on the $400,000 project, but things are back on track. Keely Shields was in Winona today for the ceremony, and she joins us live in the studio with more. Keely.
What's going up in Winona is more than just a clock. The project presents pieces of the past and present, and some say this step is just the beginning of what to expect for the future.
Small towns like Winona come together over a project like this. The clock tower represents a lot of what our past is, that there was a downtown area that was thriving. Over the years, like many small towns, we have lost a number of businesses, and we're hoping that by putting this clock tower right downtown, it's going to remind people of the importance of small town Mississippi and the downtown area.
The historic clock tower was the central feature of the Montgomery County Courthouse when it was built in 1903. In 1976, the courthouse was torn down, the clock was sold, and it ended up in a mall in Wisconsin. Nearly 40 years later, a group of Winona residents decided it was time to bring the clock back home.
In 2010, local residents found out that they were going to tear the mall down, and efforts began to get the clock back home. Then Mayor Jerry Flowers approached the Board of Aldermen, and they approved him negotiating a price, and local residents raised the money to buy the clock back.
With the clock back home, people wanted to give it a prominent place in the city once again. Plans were put in place, but the COVID pandemic increased the price of materials. That sent the design team back to the drawing board.
It will be lovely. It's going to be a roundabout, which will make it so that when people come downtown, they will literally have to look at the clock tower to go around it.
One thing is for certain, this clock is the first strike to the future.
For us as the clock committee, we see this as a way to revitalize downtown Winona and bring businesses back downtown to beautify this area. And we really hope that this clock tower will be a catalyst for transformation downtown in Winona and throughout the city of Winona.
With the groundbreaking, the clock is running to get the project finished. Senator Chassenal says work is expected to take a few months, and she invites everyone to come watch the progress and see the finished product.
Thank you, Keely. Well, North Mississippi Health Services is looking for experienced nurses and nursing students to help meet the demands of a nursing shortage. NMMC Tupelo hosted a nursing open house and hiring event. North Mississippi Health Services 7 hospitals, urgent care clinics, women's hospital, and other facilities were represented. It was an opportunity for nurses and nursing students to get their resumes in the hands of recruiters and learn about the shifts and benefits of NMMC. Organizers say there are many opportunities in the field.
Our goal is at the end of today, they will have offers in hand, and some will start right away, some will finish their education. And actually, we're working with multiple nursing schools and other facilities as we recruit and work with them to hire new nurses. We have our clinical educators who are working with some of our schools to actually help with the education of our nursing students.
This is the first in-person recruitment event the hospital has hosted in several years.
We'll take you to Parkway Elementary, where a vending machine serves up books instead of candy that's not good for you anyway. I'm Allie Martin. We'll have that story straight ahead on WCBI News.